Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is now Wednesday of week 31 of my becoming an artist journey. This is the third time that I filmed this intro because the camera has not been focused, so that's good. First, I have some book updates. So I did finish, I'm gonna have to put it over here, The Everlasting by Alix Harrow. I would probably give this 5 stars. It's my best read of the year. It was sad, but good sad. It had good adventure. I liked the characters. No notes. It is now December and I have completed my TBR and I think I've read 60 to 61 books already. So my plan is to actually try to read this all the way through and do it slowly over the course of the month. It is literally just about architecture, so it's kind of dry, but this is my December challenge for myself, is to get through this book. I was just traveling for Thanksgiving and my mom actually took me to one of those everything is 70% off book warehouses where I'm assuming they get misprints and overstock. I picked this up. This is the Raven Scholar. I have this on hold at the library, but I'm like 70 something in line and it was $6. I generally don't buy books until I've read them and know that I like them, making an exception. And if it's terrible, I can always throw it in a tiny library so that maybe someone else will enjoy it. But I think it might be okay. As far as games go, whenever I have downtime, I've been playing Minecraft on the Forever server. I don't have a lot of downtime right now because 1, aforementioned, it's the holiday season. 2, I'm really trying to get this assignment done for school before the end of the year. More on that in a minute. 3, today is session 7 or 8 of hopefully 10 for my D&D group, which is completely homebrew. And I have to do a lot more prep on it now that we are getting towards the end. But I am really hoping to finish that out this year as well. It looks like it's going to spill into next year a little bit. I am hoping it's over soon so that I can have more art time. I also am making Christmas gifts for people that are art related, so I have to find time for that too. As far as art goes, I am going to have to put in some footage from yesterday after this intro because I did do a little bit of school yesterday, spur of the moment. What I did was I have been doing studies. You will have seen last week or the last video that I've been doing studies from Mobile Gundam and this book, Kalamity Sketchbook by Luca Zampriolo. I've been doing that to study for an assignment that I have to do to finish out the term. Luca Zampriolo's stuff is very detailed and very challenging. So what I did yesterday was I scanned in some of his drawings and then I did a red line over them to try to practice and discern the larger shapes that are underneath all of the details because he uses so much detail. So I was just doing a little bit of a study. I have one more drawing from here to actually study, and then tomorrow I'm going to try to do school again and start sketching out ideas for my assignment. I do have guests coming at the end of the week, so I also need to find time to clean the house and wrap Christmas gifts because any chance I can get to just hand out Christmas gifts instead of having to ship them is great. So I have a lot of work ahead of me, but I'm going to take you with me and let's see how it goes. Voiceover Emily taking over. This is what red line studies mean. So I've taken a scan of the drawings from his book and now purely for educational purposes, I'm trying to break down each individual piece into simple shapes because when you look at the thing overall, you see all these bolts and wires and nuts and it looks super impressive, but it's easy to get caught up in the details when really it's about the simple shapes that you can break these things down into to make them work. And that's kind of what I'm studying here, is the way that this artist used simple shapes and combined them to make something more exciting and interesting. And this one was my favorite, this like gorilla shaped mech that was super big and super cute looking. And now I'm trying to do them on my own. So I'm taking the big shape knowledge that I learned from the redline studies, and I'm trying to keep that in mind when I'm sketching the mechs just straight in my sketchbook. And I'm trying to not get caught up in all the details and just create the big shapes that make up these really cool humanoid vibe robots. And once that was done, I had 1.5 full spreads of mech studies. I know you're sick of seeing all of these at this point, but okay. So I've done my practice, my self-imposed practice for my final assignment of term 2. I did study of Mobile Gundam. I did study of Mobile Gundam. I did study of Luca Zampriolo's sketchbook, Kalamity sketchbook. I did red lines of Luca Zampriolo's Kalamity sketchbook. You have seen all of this prep work. Now, I think it's time to start sketching for the actual final result. I have some super horrific little doodles in my idea sketchbook. And I've thrown around a few animal ideas, but I think I want to make a raccoon mech. A creepy, clawed, little, big, chunky raccoon guy. So today is currently Thursday. We're going to do some sketches of raccoons. And then tonight I'm going to try to start working on Christmas gifts. That didn't happen. So I did start doing sketches of raccoons. And I'm basically just trying to do poses and see which one I might want to use. I was trying to think of something menacing, but a lot of raccoons being menacing is really more like them looking defensive. So it was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. And then I started trying to figure out how my metal components would start to work in, but I found myself struggling to work outside of the bounds of the raccoon. I kept ending up putting things like very surface level on the raccoon. It just wasn't working super well. So instead of working on Christmas gifts, I decided to do some digitally so that I could really play around with it without ruining the original sketch. So I scanned in the raccoon, and then what I did was I did 3 passes. So the first one, I just started working off of the shape of the raccoon and seeing what shapes came together as I tried to make it into a robot. Then I hid that layer, started a new layer, and did it again, playing around with some shapes, trying to see what might work. Like, I like the head on this one better, but I like the body better on the other one, that kind of thing. And once I had done 2 iterations, I started taking what I liked from one, what I liked from the other, and kind of combining them into a merged design that takes elements from both. And then we arrived at the weekend, so I went and got some coffee. We did some board games with friends. We went to our favorite rotating menu little reservation only restaurant to get some good food. And then it was the next week. What I'm doing here is I'm printing out some of the stuff I did digitally. I don't like how the prints came out, but that's okay. I just wanted to have little things here and there in my sketchbook that kind of told me what I had been working on digitally when I was working on these other things traditionally. Hello. It is currently Tuesday of week 32, and I'm planning on doing school tonight, so I want to just do a little update for the week and get you guys caught up with where I'm at currently. We did have guests over the entire weekend, so I haven't made any progress on anything, which is good because we are hanging out, doing fun things, you know. This is not a bad thing. But I do want to catch you guys up to present day. I have not made any progress on Fallen Glory, The Lives and Deaths of History's Great Buildings or something like that. It's daunting. It's thick. It's an architecture history book. I'm not anticipating this going quickly. I am especially not expecting it to go quickly because the newest T. Kingfisher book came in for me at the library. This is Snake Eater, and I have very, very casually cracked into this, like a few pages. But I have a haircut tomorrow, And this is a much more travelable book than this. So I'm expecting that I'm likely going to end up reading this way before that. As far as games go, you know, we had guests around, so we were just playing cards and stuff and not playing video games. But yesterday we did play the newest Jackbox as a group, and then I also got a game that's been on my wish list for a while, and then my friend got it, and then I just had to get it. It is called Drop Duchy, and it is a kingdom building roguelike that is essentially Tetris. Very fun, good puzzle when you're feeling a little bit low energy, and cute looking, and I'm excited to keep playing that. So school. We are quickly approaching the end of the year. My Christmas gifts are not done. My assignment to finish term 2 and go into term 3 is not done. By the time you guys see this, we will be well into 2026. That is kind of the perk of filming week by week content instead of date by date content, is that even though I have a huge backlog for editing, it's not the end of the world. But that does mean that you guys are a little bit behind. It's a little bit awkward now that I'm like at such a milestone like the end of the year. Today is scheduled school day. I am at an impasse because I'm trying to decide if it would be better to make progress on my Christmas gifts or make progress on my assignments. I do have my raccoon mech sketched, not composition wise, but I do have it sketched, the mech. And I think that I have enough elements between the 3 of them that I can combine the 3 designs into something that I need to just go with, because I'm not happy with any of them, but that's not really how school works. You don't get to just sit there and agonize over it until it's perfect. It's not a personal piece. It's not a passion project. It's an assignment. So I need to just move forward. I do think that I want to do this digitally, which does likely mean I'm going to end up being less happy with it. I really want to do a background. I really want to make it atmospheric feeling. And I think that I need the flexibility of digital art in order to complete that. Have plotted out, I can insert a video here. I have plotted out all of my Christmas gifts. I'm making 2 sets of coasters for my parents. Long story short, let's tackle week 32. We will do school tonight, but on my lunch break, I did start drawing my designs on the coasters. So this is the first set. These are already sanded, but they have not been gessoed yet. So I'm just doing the sketch straight on the wood, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put gesso on them and then sand them again so they're really smooth and ready to paint. Now that it's now, I know that I ended up drawing everything a little bit too small, especially for my inability to paint. My skill level was not good enough to have everything be this small on these coasters, but I was really excited at this point. I also replaced the like $10 Amazon lamp from 10 years ago in our living room with a more mid-century modern vibe lamp. Took the dog for a walk. And then I took some time off from the coasters and I drew a P-Dove Pokemon with silly shoes and silly glasses, just because sometimes you just gotta. Then over the weekend we went to a Christmas haunted house, and I started sketching all of the other set of coasters. These are the Lily of the Valley set, and then the other set was the Ginkgo set. And I'm just doing the same thing. So sketching my designs that I had already planned out onto the coasters so that I'm able to paint them. From here, I put some school on and I started covering them all in gesso so that they were ready to, I started covering them all in gesso so they were ready to paint. And I also did a sneaky secret B set so that I had a set that I could test and see how they hold up, so that if I go to sell any of these this year, I know how they hold up. Milo, of course, was super helpful the whole time. Between coats while they were drying, I was, of course, doing a little bit of reading. And then I did do some school. So I started working on laying out the final raccoon mech drawing. I decided I wanted it to be like an ancient mech that had been asleep in a forest for many years, and then some poor hiker stumbled upon it and woke it up. I'm not gonna finish it now, but we will finish it in the next video, hopefully. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.